Dr. Vince, tell us about the Hormonal Symphony.
The Hormonal Symphony is really integral to the entire anti-Alzheimer's prescription and DEAR program. One of the reasons why it was created with the help of Dr. William Sears, one of my friends from Harvard, is in order to help individuals understand how the program works. We found in Yale back in the 1970s that if one found a program to follow, or a lifestyle change, or a diet, what occurred if they just followed it rotely, they only had an 18% chance of being on it 1 month later. However, if they understood why they were on that program and how it worked, the chances of maintaining that program were 58% 1 month later and 36% 3 months later. And after 3 months, you've really started into a lifestyle change. So let's talk about what the Hormonal Symphony is. What it is, it's the balance of our hormones. And when our life is in balance, when our hormones are in balance, we stay youthful. What occurs as we age is that they gradually get out of balance. The youthful hormones decrease by up to 90%, and the aging hormones increase up to 70%. And this especially occurs at about 50 years of age. And I always tell everybody that you look good until 50, and then it's all downhill. And many of us who have hit that 50-year age, all are very aware of what's going on. And it really is physiological. And so the whole concept of the anti-Alzheimer's prescription and DEAR program is to up with the youthful hormones and trying to reduce the stressful or aging hormones. And so we get ourselves back into balance. Now, what are the youthful hormones that I talk about? They're called anabolic hormones, and anabolic is like anode, means positive. It's testosterone, estrogen, growth hormone, thyroid hormone. Now, associated with these youthful hormones are also certain essential neurotransmitters, one called serotonin and the other one dopamine. Now, both of them are extremely important for our feeling of well-being, our executive functioning, and also for our anti-addictive qualities. In fact, when serotonin and dopamine are high, we don't crave carbohydrates, we don't crave alcohol, and somehow we feel good and get a lot done. Together with this youthful hormones and those two neurotransmitters, dopamine and serotonin, we have the vagal system. This is part of a nervous system which is for rest and recovery. Also, it's called digest and rest. On the other side of the symphony is the catabolic, or what I call the aging hormones. And those are primarily ACTH and cortisol. In fact, they're called catabolic, which actually means negative, and it's like a cathode, the negative potential. But they're really not truly always negative. In fact, without cortisol, without ACTH, we really could not function. The reason why we call them the aging hormones is that when they're out of control, like I had mentioned, they increase almost 70% from 50 to 70 years of age. What they do is they cause carbohydrate hunger, because they're what we call the alarm system. When our sympathetic nervous system, just as we had a vagal system, our sympathetic nervous system is the part of our alarm system. It's our fight or flight system. And when that happens, adrenaline and noradrenaline is excreted. And these are two of the hormones that are on the aging side. When they occur, when they're excreted, when we're under some type of duress, like for instance, back in the old caveman times, it was a behemoth or a tiger coming down, and it would cause tremendous amount of alarm. What it did, the adrenaline and noradrenaline would make our pupils increase, our muscles tense up, and we were ready for action. Today, we don't have the tigers. What we have is your boss. We have as many other stresses. Cause adrenaline, noradrenaline to put us into an alarm state. However, that only lasts for a short period of time. Then what it does, adrenaline and noradrenaline stimulate a part of the brain to cause ACTH, which is a corticotropic hormone, and causes cortisol to be secreted. Now, cortisol is very important because now this is our long-term fight or flight or alarm system. And what that does is that anytime you're going to have a fight or flight, what do you need? Energy. So what it does, it stimulates our need and our hunger for carbohydrates. And it secretes a hormone called ghrelin, which in a way is more addictive than even cocaine. And so what we do is we eat sugars. Sugars then peak insulin. And now we know that peaking insulin, that is when insulin goes unusually high, it's one of the causes for Alzheimer's disease. In addition, when cortisol is chronically elevated, actually our immune system is depleted and we're more likely to get colds, we're more likely to get cancer, we're more likely to get coronary artery disease. When insulin is secreted, it converts the carbohydrates into fat, and we're more likely to be obese. We're more likely to get insulin resistance. All the risk factors that are associated with Alzheimer's disease. And many people don't understand that you could either increase your risk by 2,600% or decrease it by 2,600%. And I created the Anti-Alzheimer's Prescription and DEAR program primarily to give people an opportunity to have a cookbook. But it's not only a cookbook, but it is a means of understanding why we age and what we must do in order to avoid it. I will use throughout the 6-part series a battle cry, what I call up with the good, down with the bad. And what that really means is that up with the good youthful hormones and down with those that are going to cause increased aging. With the use of the Hormonal Symphony, you will have a tool to help you understand why the diet, the harmonic diet, the exercise program, or the Fort formula. Third, the accentuating the brain's reserve, or neurobics, and rest and recovery, how they increase the youthful hormones and decrease the aging hormones. And with that tool, you will be able to use this for the rest of your life. You will no longer need any prompts every time you pick up a piece of food, every time you exercise, every time you think of memories of the past, every time you go to sleep. You will know what the proper thing to do, and you will know how. It is either increasing the likelihood of you becoming a statistic, that is a person with Alzheimer's disease, or one who is going to avoid it, because the anti-Alzheimer's prescription is a prevention of Alzheimer's disease. We all must understand that there is no magic bullet. There is no treatment on the horizon that is going to prevent Alzheimer's disease, delay it, or cure it.